Hello and welcome into the Pakistan Cricket Show. This is Andrew, and I'm joined by Hussam, who I know from Lahore. Is a very good friend of mine, a very talented film editor, but a very opinionated fan. Hussam, welcome to the show. Lovely to have you on
Thank you for
board.
having me. Thank you for having me, Andy. I would call myself a Pakistan cricket sufferer because I've suffered with Pakistan cricket since day one, and it keeps going on. It never stops. It's a pain that never stops. And honestly, Pakistan cricket fans, you ask anyone, we are kind of addicted to the pain. So like,
Well,
we love the
that's
pain. The
it's interesting that you say that because one of the things I've observed, and you know me fairly well now, right? Like, obviously, I've met you in Pakistan, and we've hung out a little bit and drunk some coffee and stuff like that, and or maybe a little bit of tea. And obviously, tea's fantastic in Pakistan. But like,
yeah, no.
one thing I don't really understand about Pakistan fans is this: they're so up and down. It's just like 1 minute Baba's a hero, the next minute they're criticising his strike rate. He should be out of the team. They say Iftika's amazing. Next minute he's rubbish. Like I don't. Can you give us some sort of insight for the listeners on Global Cricket Radio? What is this mentality of Pakistan cricket fans? And I can only speak from what I see on Twitter, right? I
Yeah.
can't speak generally, but I just find them so hard to follow.
Yeah. So the thing is, everybody's opinionated, from the guy on Twitter to the guy on a tea stall watching the match on a small screen, right, on an old TV. Everybody's got an opinion in Pakistan, and we are 220 million people. How are we? I think it's 220 million or something like that, right? And everybody's got an opinion, and everybody's got a passionate opinion, right? And it is like that somewhat. When somebody's doing well, they are a hero, and when they're not really doing well, and then everybody just gets the knives out. But I think the truth is right in the middle somewhere. It's never Things are not as good or as bad as they seem. I think that's a very good quote to sum
Yeah,
up the situation. But so the truth is somewhere in the middle, and all I can say is that yeah, we are passionate people, and it's an internet word, but I feel like some accounts have an agenda. So like they just have an agenda against some player, and then whatever they do, they're gonna speak on it. They're gonna speak against him, or they're gonna
but
just
it,
bring
but
out
it,
stats. The one thing
no,
about stats, and sorry to cut you off, but there's another thing which I kind of hate. It's my source. I sort of don't like it. The thing about stats is like you can break up stats no matter what way you want, right? If somebody's got an average of 50 and a strike rate of 120, you can put this in both ways. You can say, well, he's a great player because he's got an average of 50, and then somebody will come in and they'll say, but the strike rate is 120, so they take up a lot of balls. They're selfish, right?
but Hussam, I think that I haven't come across another set of fans that obsess about. So there's two things I think about. One is this word intent. I think actually it was invented in Pakistan. Intent, and so that's the first thing. And the second thing is they obsess on strike rate. Like I've never seen another group. I mean, you know, if you look at someone like, I don't know, Glenn Phillips, for example, I'm just picking him out as an example. Does do New Zealanders even know what a strike rate is? They don't even know what a strike rate is. But every single Pakistan fan, whichever side you're on, this is just my observation. You know, whether you're on the behind you Bubba or behind you Skipper camp, or whether you're on some other side, um, it's just it's scarcely believable how obsessed Pakistanis are with stats.
Isn't it a good thing though? I think they're very knowledgeable. I think people are knowledgeable, and honestly, no. But I think stats are the modern day driver behind franchise cricket, drivers behind cricket in general. So like, it is a good thing to use stats and be obsessed with them. But again, as I said, the truth is somewhere in the middle always, and the obsession can sometimes take you to like dark paths, and some fans go there and they're like totally obsessed and super obsessed, and then they just stray far away from the truth. That can happen as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it can happen, but and I think the other thing that's unique about Pakistan, I mean, okay, maybe it's probably the same in India, but I don't follow it closely enough, so I don't really know. But
yeah, well, I
you know,
think so many of the
you've got
fan
like
culture is the same.
this whole situation in Pakistan with you know whether you're a 16-year-old girl like our sometimes co-host Rabail, for example, right? I mean, but she's I don't think she's obsessed with stats, but she's just so passionate about the team. But then you see other people that are just Barber's scoring too slowly. And just on this point, I wanted to ask you something. So this 5 match series has just finished in New Zealand, and I actually
Hmm.
was very, from my own standpoint, I thought Pakistan got their order pretty much right. And I know they lost 4-1, but um, to have Syed Mayoub come in at opening with Rizwan and Barbara at 3 and Fakir at 4, I thought that was kind of right. Um, but do you think this? And I know they lost. Obviously, I know they lost. They lost 4-1. But I wanted to ask you, Hussam, do you think that the way they set the team up, do you think it's done
Hmm.
anything to, I suppose, what's the word? Satisfy everyone that they've worked out how to break up this Baba Rizwan partnership and give Pakistan a better chance of winning T20 matches.
I think one of the things that I do, I do sympathize with them entirely is that the dilemma here is we've got six players from the top order doing well. So all the players that are doing well, see Fakhar Zaman, we've got Rizwan and Baba, we've got Saima Yu, we've got Mohammad Haris, and then we've got Shahid Rada Farhan come in. They're all top order batters, and they are the ones scoring runs in the T20 circuit. So like that's a bad problem to have, right? There's a lack of middle order, so you have to spread it out. You have to spread your people out, and you have to somebody like Fakhr has to play 4 or 3 or whatever. So there is a problem there that they have to solve, of course, and in doing so there are multiple solutions, and I think there's no solution that will satisfy everybody. I do not think there's a perfect solution for this problem
Well,
unless until or unless.
where do you think Baba should bat?
Okay, that's a difficult one. You're gonna get me bashed from the Barber fans here. You put me in a bit of a spot of bother here. You can't. Again, the passionate thing. Everybody's super opinionated now. So like, listen, he needs a power play. That's for sure. He doesn't have the power hitting abilities, right? He doesn't have the power hitting abilities down anytime after when you hit when you need to hit. So there's a problem with him. The problem with Rizwan is his limitations. He can only slog on one side and stuff like that. And then Rizwan can also go into a shell. So my controversial take of the day is there's only place for one in the T20 team.
So you think
Yes, they're both scoring
you think
runs.
it's either Baba or Rizwan? Is that what you think?
Exactly, because the problem with Baba Rizwan is okay. Yes, Saima Ayub is now opening, but then there's Mohammad Haris waiting as well. And Mohammad Haris is like a proper T20 professional. And then you've got somebody like Fakhar Zaman, who, in my opinion, is the best T20 batter in Pakistan
Yeah, but
currently right
he
now.
hasn't been great though, Zaman. I mean, you know very well that I've been to Pakistan 5 times in the last couple of years. He's not brilliant, Zaman. I mean, I know everyone says he's good, but actually he's not great.
I beg to differ. I'm a Lahore Qalandars fan, so like I'm gonna bat for Fakhar till the end. He's our guy. So like I'm a Qalandari, right? So I absolutely love Fakhar Zaman, and I do think that he should be opening the innings along with
Yeah,
somebody
I
else.
know. I look,
Whether
I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of crazy having batting at 4, but the way I looked at the way the team was lined up, I thought actually this is probably not bad. They've decided to give a new guy a chance opening instead of Bubba, which was Simobe, with Rizwan, and I think that was the right call. And then obviously Bubba's got to bat somewhere, so maybe Fucker could have batted 3 or could have Bubba could have batted 4. Whatever. It doesn't really matter, but. No, but
The problem with Baba batting four is that the one thing Fakhr gets you at four and Baba doesn't is the spin play. Baba is he's not that good against spin, is he? He can't really
yeah,
hit
but
against spin,
no,
and
no,
he
no,
looked
you're
out of
right. I mean,
sorts against spin.
Bubba can't handle the ball coming into his body. I mean, we've seen
Yeah,
that in the Test series against pace bowlers. We've seen it in the past against spin bowlers. But Hussam, what's really staggering about this is that I saw a clip today. Bubba was the ICC Cricketer of the Year in 2022. And now we're talking about him not even being in the team. I mean, what? So, what's your take on Bubba? I mean, I know he's lost the captaincy. Obviously, that must have been really brutal for him to take. But does he actually deserve a place in the side? Bearing in mind that we're not that far away from a T20 World Cup.
yeah. I don't have an opinion right now. I do think he's on the edge right now. I do think that I'll say that. Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble. The thing that I want to say that I believe in very strongly is if you want to win the T20 World Cup or if you want to do well, you need to have an open mind. You cannot just go into the T20 World Cup with the same old mindset of respecting seniors or respecting experience or whatever. I think you have to take some brutal decisions right now. And if that brutal decision is Baba not being there, then you have to handle that. Yes, you'd have to take the decision. Right now, though, I would give, you can't just rubbish 2 or 3 years of effort from Baba based on one season. That's true as well, right? That's the other side of it. You can't just say, well,
Let me ask you something else, Hussam. Do you think that so it wasn't that long ago when I saw you in Lahore and there was that amazing 7 match series between England and Pakistan, and I can't remember who won actually. It was 4-3 or something. I
I
can't
think it
remember.
was England, yeah.
Yeah, I think England won 4-3. But there was a couple of matches when Bubba and Rizwan just dominated, and it's not in the sense that they were like Rohit Sharma and just smashed it out of the park but that they
Hmm.
know how to win a match. So I guess do you think that Bubba is basically or possibly or I hate to say this because I know Pakistan fans are listening, but is he potentially a liability when he's not at home?
Oh, that's a difficult one. That is a difficult. Again, you just want me to get smashed up on the street, don't you? I'm gonna get sucker punched somewhere from somebody. It could be. It could be when he gets into the shell. Right. The other day, yes, Pakistan won, but that innings was just absolutely sad to watch. How much did he get? He got 8 of 13, 14, 15 balls, and he just did not get going. And in this series, actually, if you've seen the New Zealand series of five T20s, there have been games where he was over trying. You could see him trying to slog and smash. That was just not his natural game. And if you look at the last 2 years and the big away games that he's had in the Asia Cup or in the Australia World Cup, the T20 World Cup that happened in Australia, he has suffered. He has struggled. Even with Rizwan doing well, Babar has sort of struggled in the big games. So potential liability. I'm using the word potential. Everybody listening, please. I'm saying potential liability. I'm not saying he is a
Don't
liability. I'm
worry,
saying
we
potential,
heard
a
you very
problem for the
clearly.
future. Don't come at me.
Don't worry. You're not going to
Yeah.
be attacked in the streets of Lahore or anything like that. But anyway, I think we've talked enough about Bubba and but how do you see the team based on what happened in New Zealand and obviously Shaheen Shah Afridi was leading the team for the first time and yes, I know the team lost 4-1. They won the last match when New Zealand kind of capitulated. But what did you actually take from the series? And in terms of because what I really want to ask you because this is the question I've had in my mind. Like I say, I've been to Pakistan multiple times over the last couple of years, but the thing that I've always thought about your team is that there's just no middle order. It's a complete disarray, and like everyone talks about Ifty mania and all this bullshit, but I mean, there's barely a middle order. And in the last match, Muhammad Nawaz came in at number 5, and I actually think he's not a bad number 5. But do you think that Pakistan is any further ahead to having an actual middle order?
I think if Shadab Khan has a good season in the PSL, they need Shadab Khan back. That gives you the leg spinner, the leg spinning middle order option. That's one. And I do think they should stay with Azam Khan. They should stay with Azam Khan. They should give him a longer run. There was this thing going around Twitter, or X now. They were comparing the 7 match stats between Josh Butler, his first 7 games. There's a picture of his stats, 2.4 average, something like that, and then Azam Khan. So if England did the same to Josh Butler, what Pakistan is trying to do with Azam Khan, there wouldn't have been this Josh show or Butler show, whatever they call him, Josh the man or something like that. I don't know what they call him, but there wouldn't have been a Josh Butler. So I do think Shadab and Azam Khan are good options for the middle order.
Well, but hold on.
Iftikhar,
So I just want to pick you up on something. I mean, Shadab, I get, but where would you put Shadab? Would he bat at 6 or 7?
I think that would be 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Yeah, somewhere around 5 or 6.
but I think,
That is where he also batted in the T20 World Cup in Australia.
but this is the thing. This is the issue I see with the Pakistan side, and it's not often that I can feel like I can speak with some sort of authority, but I kind of feel like if you look at the side that played with Fakhr at 4, and then sometimes it was Iftikhar at 5, sometimes it was Nawaz. I just kind of feel like Pakistan needs to work out who their number 5 and number 6 are, and stick with them. And my feeling is that probably Shadab could bat 6, but I don't actually think that Iftikhar should bat 5. So I still feel it's very confused, mate. I really do.
I think you're jumping ahead. You're jumping the gun. We first need to figure out 1 to 4, and then we'll figure out 5 to 6.
No, but we've been trying to do that for like the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
let's move on to something else. One thing that's quite interesting for me as an observer is Muhammad Hafiz seems to have taken on, I don't know, like I don't really remember. I mean, I guess he's a bit like Rob Key, but he's sort of become the spokesperson for the team. He's not the coach. That's not his role, but he's become this sort of I don't know, yeah,
Godfather of Pakistan cricket.
spokesperson for the team. And you know, the last thing I really remember about him, and I remember him as a player, obviously, I remember that, but I mean, he was the one that was sort of setting down the rules, and you got to do this and you got to do that, and then he couldn't even make his own flight.
So,
What do you make of this
yeah,
guy?
yeah. What do you make of the thing, huh? What do you think about? How would you
Well,
feel if if your coach was being all authoritative over you, and then your coach and his wife missed the flight? How would you feel if you're a player?
I mean, you'd lose respect, obviously, straight away. I mean, you've got.
I laugh my ass off.
Well, I just thought it was quite funny when I mean, obviously, I can only go on, what I saw on Twitter. I mean, I don't know the full story, obviously, and the full story will probably never ever come out. But
Come out,
I,
yeah,
I saw a tweet to say that he was just wandering around the airport and missed his
yeah.
flight. I mean, and I know what
No,
happens
it
in
was
these.
after he missed his flight. He had missed his flight, and then he didn't know that, and then he was just wandering around the airport
No,
because
I
he
know,
missed his
I know,
flight.
I know what happens in these situations, right? You're with your wife, or because it happened to me in Japan a couple of months ago, or back in November.
Tell me about it.
My girlfriend almost missed the bloody plane. But what was she doing? She was buying something, and then I was like, "Where the hell are you?" And at the very last second, um, she literally got in the door at the very last second. And I think, well, I don't know what happened with Muhammad Hafiz. I mean, he might have been reading wisdom in the shop because he couldn't be bothered paying for it. I mean, I don't know what happened, but I mean, what a standard to set that you can't even make a flight. But I
I know,
also
right?
think, but I think it's sort of he's sort of got this profile now of being like this self-important person, and I don't know. There's just
So the
something
thing
about
about him is that right before the tour, he was put on as the director of cricket of Pakistan, right? Mr. Professor, the director of cricket. And then they realized they don't have any fucking time to get a coach in, and no coach is going to come in at the wages they were offering. I guess this is the case. And then they had to leave for the Australia tour. So the director of cricket became the de facto coach of Pakistan cricket. And then they had the new captain come in. And so in this way, Hafiz is right now is not only the director of cricket, he's also the head coach. And according to rumors, here's the funny thing about Pakistan cricket. According to rumors, on February 4th, Hafiz's contract expires.
really.
So like, yeah, so like all the big guy talk, all the big guy walking around the place and putting in rules and putting in fines and talking a big talk and saying his team was the better team when they were not. All of
Oh
that
yeah, that was
for
funny
two
as well.
months. All of that for 2 months. The guy is so much all of full of talk, you know. I actually used to be a fan of Mohammad Hafiz. I think whenever he was talking outside of the game, when he was not actually involved as a pundit, he used to talk a lot of sense. There's a very good podcast. I mean, it's not good anymore because Hafiz has kind of exposed himself. But there's a podcast with Roha Nadeem from Crickwick, um,
With
where he talks
Roha.
about yeah Hafiz and
Right.
Roha on Crickwick, and where he talks about the 90s, the players and their legacies and how they fucked up their legacies, match fixing and all that stuff, modern day cricket, and he's just talking a lot of good stuff. Like that
It's
podcast is really
interesting.
really good.
No,
Yeah,
no, look, Roha is an amazingly good broadcaster. I totally respect her.
yeah.
I've only met her the once, but she's tremendous, and maybe we'll dig into that. Perhaps we'll share it in the show notes with But
So
anyway,
so
and
so
I,
so
and I,
so if you heard that podcast about with Roha, if you heard that podcast for the first time, you're gonna say, "Wow, this guy knows his stuff," and you're gonna be impressed from Mohammad Hafiz. But then he becomes a coach, and you realize this guy is all talk. He's just full of talk and full of shit. Um, and there have also been rumors of sort of unrest in the dressing room, um, sort of a authoritative environment in the dressing room that is not falling right. Like the atmosphere has been a bit stiff and stern. So yeah,
but doesn't the captain have something to do with that as well, though? Like, and I know they've
I,
had
I
two
I don't
captains.
think Shaheen is the kind of character yet to have that sort of power or that sort of regime of sorts. I don't think he's that kind of character right now, or at least for now, he's not.
But if I was a player, right? If I was Bubba, for example, a former captain, I'd just tell this guy to fuck off. I'd say, fuck off. Let's let us play. You know, like I don't know, like, but it's just I'm just reading between the lines, right? Obviously, I'm not there. I'm not privy to anything, but this Muhammad Hafiz character, he seems to be massively disruptive to Pakistan cricket right now. But just on that, I mean, what is actually happening in Pakistan cricket at the moment? Because it seems like it's all change. It's like every day almost. It's all change, and you got former players like Rambo, Ramiz Raja commenting on this and that. I mean, what the hell is going on in Pakistan at the moment?
All right, I'll sum it up in one question. Ask me who the current chairman is of PCB.
Who is the current chairman of the PCB?
I don't fucking know. It's a new guy. I don't fucking know his name. I do not know his name. I did read it, but I've not forgotten it.
What? So they've
It's
so
some
so they've changed the
Zakai is
chairman.
gone. Yeah, Zakai Ashraf is gone, and now there's like I think he's a former judge of sorts. He's a retired judge. I don't know his name. Let me Google it.
Wow, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
and I guess what's quite funny about this, I mean, well, not funny, it's actually very sad, is that, Sri Lanka's been suspended by the ICC because of so called political interference, but they're still allowed to play. I don't even know how that
Yeah,
works.
I don't get that. Yeah, I don't get that as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, they're suspended, but they can still play. But I mean, if I understood it correctly, under the constitution of Pakistan cricket, basically the government actually has the power to make appointments. Well, is that not political interference?
It is. It is. It kind of is. But the thing with Pakistan cricket is that if it's not the big three, the next, ICC's biggest game is India versus Pakistan, and Pakistan actually, I think, I'm not saying this is very stupid to come out of my mouth, but I think in the eyes of ICC, Pakistan cricket probably means more than Sri Lanka cricket. So like, that is the only thing that saves them,
Yeah.
because
No, no.
if you apply the
I saw a statistic the other day that showed the value of all the various countries, and I was actually really surprised. Like South Africa, for example, I thought, well, they'd be worthless basically, but actually, no, they can, they're actually quite wealthy, and
Mhm.
obviously, it's a very set, soft, or how should I say, sore point for me because obviously South Africa's sending a, I don't know, an F side to New Zealand.
Yeah,
Um,
they are.
but actually, South Africa cricket's quite wealthy. New Zealand cricket's very unwealthy, and actually, Pakistan was fairly high on the list. I think they were number, I don't know, 4 or 5 or something. But
I think they're four. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, so anyway, so Pakistan
Mr.
now.
Shah Khabar, Mr. Shah Khabar, sorry to cut you off. Mr. Shah Khabar, election commissioner, has assumed the powers of PCB chairman. That's from the website, the corporate website.
But how does it happen though? I mean, how do I mean, how did the last guy lose his job? I mean, I know Rambo lost his job, but I mean, who puts people in and takes people out? How does it work
It's the
actually?
prime minister. Yeah, the prime minister has the power to do that, and the prime ministers in Pakistan change every month. So it's like the new
Yeah,
flavor of the month. Just like the new flavor of the month in the country, it's also the new flavor of the month with the board. So like, what happened with Rambo is that he was Imran Khan's guy, and that's the funny thing. Wasim Khan was also Imran Khan's guy,
yeah. Well,
but then
Wasim Khan was a great administrator. I
he
know
was a
that, and
great. He was
and
great.
now
I
he's at
think,
the
yeah.
ICC.
So he was COO, Wasim Khan. Salman Nasir is the COO right now, and he's been there for like under a lot of chairmen. But they need to find a way to either stop the rule, or whoever the chairman is should not impact things on a more basic level,
Well, yeah,
right?
but that's but Hussam, that's the whole thing about Pakistan cricket, right? And I've always wondered this is that the chairman seems to literally rule the whole thing, and so like
Exactly, that should not be happening. Yeah, the
yeah,
cricket
exactly, like
department should
when
the
Rambo
cricket
was,
department should be different. Yeah.
well, just to give you an example, when Rambo was there, he decided who was going to do the television commentary. I mean, that's not the job of a chairman, you know. So
No.
it is a little bit of a mess, and but it's also quite funny because it gives us something to talk about.
Oh no, that circus just like it always gives you something to talk about. The Pakistan cricket chairman circus, and you're right about that. The, Rambo was making all the decisions, the minute decisions as well. He was changing pitches. Like, what's the chairman doing changing pitches? Who the fuck are you? You're just the chairman. You
Yeah,
handle the finances.
exactly.
You go meet the ICC, right? You talk on the
Yeah,
in the
your
board
job
meetings.
is your job is to
You handle the accounts
open.
and the big people and the sponsors and all that.
Yeah, your job is
You should not
exactly
be.
that. Your job is to meet the sponsors, open a few bridges, kiss a few babies, meet the ICC. It's not to get involved in deciding who's going to commentate on a match. It's got nothing to do with you. But anyway, we live in an
And that is another thing. That is another thing. There's a myth, or there's a thinking around Pakistan cricket where people go, a former cricketer should be chairman because they understand the game. But it's not the former cricketer's job to be a chairman. The the chairman should not have powers a former cricketer like. I don't get it, man. A chairman is completely different, and a former cricketer has no job being chairman. A
Well,
former cricketer can be
can
director
I?
of cricket, can be director of NCA, director of whatever, but like not the chairman. Just put a nice administrator, somebody. Yeah,
Can
sorry.
I say what I honestly think? I reckon I'd
Yeah,
be a
go on.
decent chair. I reckon I'd be a decent chairman of Pakistan. I really do.
What will
Um,
you do on the first day of the job?
the first day of the job, I'd hire you. No, I'm just joking. But, but, but what I'm trying to say is that, like, I've heard stories about media guys getting sacked, and it's. I mean, I've been to Lahore, right? As you know,
I know.
and I've
Yeah.
met you in Lahore, and I've been to the academy, and I can see it's working really well. The Bob Warmer Academy. I mean, it just can't be the hardest job in the world, but it just seems like, I don't know, it's so dysfunctional. I mean, and I had a show, I don't know, a few weeks ago with a guy from South Africa talking about
Hmm.
something else, and he said, "Mate, I will tell you for sure, New Zealand is the absolute gold standard about how to run, an
A cricket
organisation,
board.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and a cricket board, and." Obviously, in New Zealand, we don't really like how it's run, but actually it just works, and so yeah. But anyway, hey, who's this was an awesome chat, and I'm so delighted that you've joined me as a co-host on.
Finally, like we've been trying for 2 weeks now. It's 3 weeks now, maybe. Last week
I
I
know,
messed up.
no, that's great, mate, and I'm very delighted that we've got this slot locked in every Saturday, and obviously we've got fans in North America and stuff like that, or listeners in North America and listeners in Pakistan. But no, I can see this becoming a very interesting show because this is what it's all about, talking about the issues. We don't have to focus on stats or whether Rizwan scored this much or
Oh
that
no, I'm
much
I'm
or.
I'm just I'm just a passionate fan. I do not watch the game with the open notebook or Stats Guru on Cricinfo. I just watch it and I just cry and with joy or something like that. I don't know. I'm just a fan. Yeah. I
Well,
told you before the show. I told you before the show that I'm not gonna get into the technicalities. I'm just gonna rant and cry, and that's what I'm doing.
yeah, well, hopefully Rabail's listening to this because I know she's. I think that if we could get the three of us going on the same show with you, me, and Rabail, it would be amazing. But anyway, Hussam, thank you so much for joining us. So, from me and Hussam, this was the Pakistan Cricket Show. We're signing off on Global Cricket Radio. See you next time next week.
And we promise you will find a better name for the show.